Okay, so I just wanted to talk about a very good time that I had last night on Ride Along. I thought that it was a very good discussion, and I know it takes guts to go on a program where you know that it's, of course, we know it's pro NDC, the followers are heavily NDC, put it that way. But it takes guts and courage to go on a program like that and be able to have a civil, cordial conversation. But I want it to be made clear. If we say something about something that we see that's going on with the government that we believe is not correct, or we think there is a need for improvement, that does not mean that we're anti-Grenada or we anti the government. That does not mean that we're paid by NNP or we are some sort of NNP operative or something like that. Let me make it clear. I am not an NNP operative. I am not paid by NNP. And a matter of fact, I think that the NDC should love someone like me. NDCites, okay, should love a guy like me. They should appreciate a guy like me. That here is someone who does not have any vested interest in either party. So I am able to be neutral. I am able to call a spade, and I am able to say things as I see they are. So nobody is paying me. I don't need anybody's money. Okay? I don't need to be paid by anyone. I am being paid by who I need to be paid by for doing their work, and it has absolutely nothing to do with NDC or NNP. So I am a voice of reason. More than anything else, my concern is Grenada. So you see, you'll go on the program and, people talk a lot of nonsense and descend into personal attacks, and they're the same ones who would say, oh, NNP is all about bantering and negativity. But let me break it down to you guys. I'm a Carnage guy. I'm a Green Street guy. I also spent tons of time in Labe, Grenville. So Labe man and Carnage man, talk don't move us. We grew up around men and women who give talk, so our backs are strong, our backs are broad, so that's neither here nor there. People make little comments, that's neither here nor there. That's not going to move me in any way. But my main concern is the issues. And there is no bitterness towards the NDC. I want the NDC to flourish. Whatever government that is in power, I want them to flourish. Because if they flourish, Grenada flourishes. But that does not mean that I'm going to sit idly and see that things are not going as they should and sit down and take our debts like sheep, so to speak. We have to say something. And again, as I said, we are the voice of reason, okay? And NDCites should appreciate a guy like me. Because guess what? I'm actually ensuring that what you voted for, that you are getting some return on your investment. I want you to understand that your vote was an investment. Here it was, you fired an employee of Grenada. And I'm talking about here the NNP government. You fired them because you, in your perception, believe that the NDC government was going to bring you much better benefits in your life. Now, if they come and you voted for them and you're not holding them responsible for what you voted for, then that's a problem. That's a problem. If you have low expectations from government and all of a sudden you change your expectations, you had a certain expectation when NNP was there, and now the NDC comes in and any little thing that they do and they seek some sort of photo op doing it, they say, oh, wow, they're doing really great things. It doesn't work like that. Then on top of that, the amount of flack that the NNP received for the years that they have been in power, which was a good thing. You held them to account. So don't expect that you are going to come in and you're going to do whatever you want and no one should say anything. And for all the people, who say we know in Grenada and all in Grenada, and it doesn't matter. Let it be made clear and crystal clear that Grenada, let me say this again, Grenada belongs to all of we. Okay? To get all colloquial, it belongs to all of we. No matter which part of the globe we are, Grenada belongs to all of us. So whether you stayed there and whether we traveled, and a lot of the times, we have vested interest in Grenada. We don't have to get into the depth of it, but we have vested interest in Grenada. So we want to see Grenada progress. Okay? So there's no bitterness or anger towards the NDC government. Half of these guys, I don't even really know them to begin with. So there's no personal bitterness towards them. But if we see things are going a certain way, we are going to hold them accountable. And they themselves should appreciate that. Because if you're doing something and you have a little oversight, you will tend to be a little more careful and meticulous in what you're doing. You might be a little more diligent if someone is holding you to account. Whereas if there's no oversight, if there is no check and balance, then guess what? You do whatever you want. And it just does not work like that in the annals of government. There's a reason why in government there's an opposition. There's a reason why there are many civic voices in the population. So you can't act like what we would say, like little Pokemon when people decide to hold you accountable. You are the very people who are going extremely hard on the NNP. And they stood up like men and they took it. So what makes you any different? What makes you feel that you should not be held to some sort of standard? Or you should get a break or pass? You should be men. And you should be held to account. And whether you like it or not, that will happen. So on the program last night, we discussed, an assessment of the midterm. And I have to say, I appreciated the honesty, intellectual honesty of the other guests. I appreciated the intellectual honesty of even Kem Jones. I appreciated the intellectual honesty of Mr. Ian Django. Because they themselves, Ian Django, this is your peeps, saying that he gave you a SGU passing grade. And we all understand what he means. He said 75. I didn't give you a regular passing grade. I give you an SGU passing grade. So what is he saying? He's saying, okay, well, I think you've done certain things, but there's a lot of improvement needed. That's exactly what you're saying. And so he was intellectually honest. And that's your peeps, which is good. Kem Jones pretty much said the same thing, that there is a lot of work to be done. He said the same thing. There is a lot of work to be done. So this gives the NDC government an opportunity to calibrate, to say, okay, this is a midpoint. This is a time for assessment. And let's see how we did. And let's see where we have to improve and where we can, tap ourselves a little on the shoulder. And the thing about it, we don't always say everything negative. Like even on the program, I was specific. I said, Kem Jones, this one was dear to my heart. The Central Police Station, newly built police station on the Carnage is dear to me. I'm the one who has been advocating. I've been advocating for the fixing up of the Carnage. I knew the Carnage at a time when it was beautiful. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to get into it again because I already made a video about that. So it's more personal to people like myself who understand how beautiful the harbor was. And even with all the decadence right now, it's still a beautiful harbor, just in need of a little fix up. So we're going to hold the people responsible accountable. And they themselves should appreciate that, because at least it should motivate them to want to do better. Because they say, you know what, somebody's looking. Somebody's calling us out when we do well, and somebody's calling us out when we do good things. Like, of course, eventually they did well with the Molyneux project. I'm the first one who advertised the bridge being open. As a matter of fact, I had my friend, I said, look, you gotta go right away, drive over the bridge, give me a vid, and let me put it up. Of course, there were issues. Again, I did my civic duty from the inception of the project. Over 2 years ago, I even made a video of the issues that they would have encountered. Of course, I made a video, and the people who saw it and the people I was speaking to directly were a bunch of water boy and water girls. So they didn't get the message to the right people. And many of the things that were said on that particular video turned out to be true. Many of the problems they had turned out to be true. And the video is still there. The video is still there. So of course they had a lot of hiccups. Of course they had a lot of problems. Of course there was issues with technical ability and technical resource. And I'm the one who applauded when they had the young man, the chief technical officer, and they gave him an opportunity to do some work. As a matter of fact, I met the gentleman in person and applauded him for his efforts and, reassured him I know he's young in the business, but he would learn. And he even expressed to me that they thought that he was too young initially, and still they gave him a chance, which is good. And he's going to learn. He's going to grow. And that we all know that you've always been a straight shooter. The people who know me know who I am. You understand? And keep doing what you're doing. So sometimes when you see that I give certain people certain flack, you guys don't know the relationships I have with these people. You don't know the connections. You don't know the conversation that we may have, the personal conversations that we may have. So don't get involved in that. Because when we talk, we are very cordial to each other. We may discuss politics, and we may be on a platform, and we may say things that we think are relevant. But when we see each other, when we have conversations, we're respectful. We're still loving. There's no love lost. And many of you guys may not even know that. So even when we went on the program last night, even before the program, we had very good conversations. You would never believe that a gentleman on the program, including myself, would have been so strict in going after each other and discussing the issues. Because prior to that, before we went on the program, we were having a great time. You would think it was a couple of friends sitting down having a coffee or something. And for example, look at the situation. I've made videos about Peter. You think Peter David is going to take it personal? We've had conversations. And we both will laugh a little, and he say, oh, I know you give me a little flack, you were honest, and that's okay. But you guys don't know the relationship I have with these people. And I don't expect you to know. I mean, many of you wouldn't even understand. So again, ultimately, to wrap it up, when you see we are holding people accountable, we're doing it out of love. If you come in and you say you have a transformation agenda, then okay, we're going to hold you to your transformation agenda. If you come into power and you're expected to do more than the previous administration, then we're going to hold you to that. So you can't run around like little cry babies and say, oh my God, they're giving us so much flack. Oh, it doesn't work like that. With government, there's always going to be flack. So you have to man up and do what you have to do, irregardless. On that note, guten Abend.